All right, so to Shane Albritton. Um, so when King Kamehameha III claimed crown lands for him and his heirs, I mean that's ridiculous, right? Like, like when the Tahitians came here in 1250 A.D., they came to Hawaii. They took over. They made the Mu people slaves. They claimed this land that belonged to somebody else. And then, like a couple generations later, whatever, you got this Kamehameha the Third saying, "Hey, now me and my heirs own this forever, no matter what. Period." It doesn't work like that. Just like when King Henry VIII, kidnapped Queen Mary from Scotland, claimed Scotland as his own, and said that this belongs to his heirs. Doesn't. My family owns land in Scotland. They're not heirs of King Henry VIII. It just doesn't work like that. Because, like, for example, say your grandpa or your great-grandpa owned the land that my house is currently on right now. And say maybe he sold it or lost it to bankruptcy, whatever. And then I bought the house. That doesn't mean that his descendants still own this land just because he once owned it. That's ridiculous. It's silly. And let me go ahead and explain this a little bit better using Dinesh D'Souza. He makes this point very, very good, better than I can make it. So I'll just go ahead and play this for you.
And anybody who shows up is a usurper. Very smart college. It's worth pursuing a discussion on these points. So there are Americans whose present benefits are due to past advantage. By the way, this past advantage, which is often assumed to continue with the white man, actually goes all the way back to the beginning. The American Indians who were here first, right, had a huge advantage. We presume that they owned the whole country. Now, by the way, let's pause for a moment. How do you get to own a country? If you have Cain and Abel is a shepherd and Cain is a farmer, and Cain says, okay, I'm not going to put a fence around the whole world. I own it, because I'm the only guy here. You're a shepherd. And my descendants will now inherit the earth, and anybody who shows up is a usurper. Rousseau says that the first guy who puts up a fence and claims he owns something is a con man. So the American Indians came. They happened to be first. They came in a bunch of tribes. The Navajos who got the land took it from the Hopi or the Pueblo. Their law of the jungle was conquest. That's how they got the land. There's a big fight about the Black Hills that I cover in the film. The Sioux who got the Black Hills took it from the Cheyenne. So when we say, oh, give us the land back, are you going to turn around and give it back to the Cheyenne? Oh, no. It's ours. Really? How come you own it forever now? So what I'm getting...
And that's the point, like if we're going to give the land back, say for example, America just decides, okay, one day let's give the land back to the Hawaiians. Are the Hawaiians then going to give the land back to the Taiwanese who were first here? When the Hawaiians came and took the land from the Mu people actually had came from Taiwan about 1,000 years before the Tahitians came. So the Tahitians stole this land, which are basically the modern day Kanaka. The Kanaka Maoli are more Tahitian than anything, and their law of the jungle was conquest. They took this land from somebody else. So then what do? Just gift this back to Taiwan? Like to give it back to the original people? No, the Hawaiians don't intend to give it back to the original people. They want it for themselves. They don't want the Haoles here. They don't want, the Asians here. They want their people to have this land exclusively. That's what this whole this whole fight about the crown land is. Hey, overthrows happen. They've happened all over the world before the Hawaiian kingdom was overthrown, and they've happened after the Hawaiian kingdom was overthrown. And how do you think Texas became a part of the USA? The same exact way, joint resolution. All right, let's go into something else here. I want to illustrate this.
Sitting Bull requested this council. We await his words.
Take your soldiers out of here. They scare the game away.
Very well, sir. Tell me then, how far away should I take my men?
You must take them out of our lands.
What precisely are your lands?
These are the lands where my people lived before you whites first came.
I don't understand. We whites were not your first enemies. Why don't you demand back the land in Minnesota where the Chippewa and others forced you from years before?
The Black Hills are sacred land given to my people by Wakantonka.
Very convenient to cloak your claims in spiritualism. And what would you say to the Mormons and others who believe that their God has given to them Indian lands in the West?
I would say they should listen to Wakantonka.
No matter what your legends say, you didn't sprout from the plains like the spring grasses, and you didn't coalesce out of the ether. You came out of the Minnesota woodlands, armed to the teeth, and set upon your fellow man. You massacred the Kiowa, the Omaha, the Ponca, the Oto, and the Pawnee without mercy. And yet you claim the Black Hills as a private preserve bequeathed to you by the Great Spirit.
And who gave us the guns and powder to kill our enemies? And who traded weapons to the Chippewa and others who drove us from our home?
Chief Sitting Bull, the proposition that you were a peaceable people before the appearance of the white man is the most fanciful legend of all. You were killing each other for hundreds of moons before the first white stepped foot on this continent. You conquered those tribes, lusting for their game and their lands, just as we have now conquered you for no less noble a cause.
This is your story of my people.
This is the truth, not legend.